Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest videos about incredible stories, rare finds, and mind-blowing facts. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, exploring one of the most astonishing stories in numismatic history, the 1977 1-cent coin and how it ended up being worth millions. Buckle up, because this is a tale of rarity, mystery, and big money that might just blow your mind. Before we get into the heart of the story, let's take a moment to appreciate how ordinary coins are often seen as nothing more than pocket change. Most of us toss them into jars, lose them in the couch cushions, or even forget they exist in our wallets. But sometimes, a single coin can hold more value than a luxury car or a small house. The 1977 1-cent coin is one such example, and it's a real-life treasure with a backstory that's almost too wild to believe. It all began in 1977 when the US Mint was busy churning out billions of coins for circulation. These were the days before we had the internet, before social media could quickly spread information, and certainly before online auction sites made it easy for people to instantly sell or buy rare items. But even in those days, rare coins had a special place in the hearts of collectors. If you were lucky enough to come across a rare find, it could be worth a small fortune. In 1977, the US Mint produced the typical 1-cent coin, also known as the penny, with the image of Abraham Lincoln on the front. These pennies were made of copper-plated zinc and featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side. Nothing about them stood out at first glance. They were just like the billions of pennies that had been minted before and after. But what makes this particular penny so extraordinary is that in the midst of all those coins, one had a small but incredibly significant defect. In numismatics, the world of coin collecting, a mint error is one of the most prized things a collector can come across. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, leading to a coin being made with an unusual feature or flaw. These errors can be something as simple as a misstrike, where the coin is stamped incorrectly, or something more complex like an off-center strike or a double die, where the design is stamped multiple times. These errors can make a coin incredibly rare, and as we'll see, this is exactly what happened with the 1977 penny. Now, before we dive into how the 1977 penny became a rare find worth millions, it's important to understand a bit about the coin market and what makes certain coins more valuable than others. The value of a coin is determined by several factors: its rarity, its condition, and its historical significance. Coins that are produced in smaller numbers or with unique characteristics tend to be more valuable, and if they remain in excellent condition over time, their worth increases even further. In some cases, coins that were made in large quantities but have unique defects or features can be worth more than their face value because of the intrigue surrounding them. So, how did this particular 1977 penny end up being worth $193 million? The answer lies in the minting error. It was an accident during the production process that turned this penny into one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in the world. When the coin was struck, the minting press malfunctioned, causing the penny to have a double die effect. This meant that the image of Abraham Lincoln was stamped twice, creating an offset image that made the coin look like it had two faces. The defect wasn't immediately noticed, as the coin was indistinguishable from others at first glance. However, as time passed and collectors started to become more aware of this unique penny, it quickly gained attention. The double die error on this particular 1977 penny made it incredibly rare. Coins with this type of error are not only sought after by collectors but also by investors, who see them as valuable assets. As the penny made its way into the hands of collectors, its value began to rise. At first, it was worth only a few $100s, but as more collectors learned about its rarity, the price skyrocketed. Eventually, the 1977 double-die penny caught the attention of some serious coin investors, including those in the upper echelons of the numismatic world. Auctions were held, and the price kept climbing. Before long, this seemingly ordinary penny was worth more than anyone could have imagined. When it was sold at auction for a staggering $193 million, it made history as one of the most expensive coins ever sold. The story of the 1977 1-cent coin became a symbol of how the world of coin collecting can turn a small mistake into a financial windfall. The story of this penny didn't end with its sale, though. Its meteoric rise in value sparked a renewed interest in rare coins and mint errors. Collectors around the world began scouring their coin collections, looking for their own hidden treasures. This led to an increase in the value of other coins with mint errors, and the market for rare coins exploded. What's even more remarkable is that the 1977 penny's rise to fame wasn't just about the money. It also became a symbol of the unpredictability of the coin market, and the way that seemingly mundane objects can hold incredible value. For many people, the story of the 1977 penny served as a reminder that even the most ordinary things in life can hold untold potential if you know where to look. It's a lesson that extends far beyond the world of numismatics, reminding us that sometimes, the biggest opportunities come from the most unexpected places. As the years went by, the legend of the 1977 penny continued to grow. It was featured in documentaries, books, and articles about rare coins. People who had never been interested in coin collecting before suddenly found themselves intrigued by the idea of uncovering their own treasure. The penny became a symbol of both the unpredictability and the potential of the numismatic world, inspiring countless people to dig through their coin jars in search of their own fortune. The 1977 penny is now considered one of the most famous coins in history, and its story has become a part of the larger narrative about the value of rare items. It serves as a reminder that sometimes, hidden in the most ordinary of places, there are treasures waiting to be discovered. And for those lucky enough to find them, the rewards can be beyond anything they could have imagined. So, what's the takeaway from all of this? The story of the 1977 1-cent coin is a perfect example of how rarity, history, and the right circumstances can come together to create something truly extraordinary. It's a reminder that value isn't always about the face value of an item, but about the story it carries and the uniqueness it holds. Whether it's a coin, a piece of art, or a forgotten artifact, sometimes the most valuable things in life are the ones that aren't immediately recognizable as treasures. And that brings us to the end of our story today. The 1977 1-cent coin that sold for $193 million is a reminder of the incredible things that can happen when a simple mistake leads to something extraordinary. So, next time you come across a coin or a seemingly insignificant object, take a moment to think, could it be worth more than meets the eye? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can stay up to date on all the amazing stories we have coming your way. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled for hidden treasures, and remember that sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones you least expect. Next, today, we're going to talk about something that will leave you in awe and might even make you look at the change in your pocket a little differently. Imagine this: a 1-cent coin from 2004, a coin that in reality is worth far more than what you might expect. When most people think about rare and valuable coins, they often think of the ancient ones or those with historical significance. Maybe they imagine coins from ancient civilizations like the Roman Empire, or perhaps the gold coins minted during the reign of kings and queens in medieval Europe. But what if I told you that a simple, seemingly ordinary coin minted only a few decades ago could be worth a fortune? This is exactly the case with the specific 2004 1-cent coin. It's amazing how the world of coin collecting, or numismatics as it's formally known, can hold such surprises. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for rare, unusual, or misprinted coins that can fetch astronomical prices at auctions or through private sales. You might think that the humble penny, often tossed aside or forgotten in the bottom of a drawer, wouldn't have much value beyond its face value. After all, in many places around the world, a penny isn't even worth a full cent in terms of its purchasing power anymore. But as with many things in life, appearances can be deceiving. So, how does a 2004 penny become one of the most valuable coins in the world? Let's go back a bit and see how it all started. In the world of numismatics, there are two types of coins that typically fetch the highest prices: rare coins and coins that have been misprinted or produced with an error. These coins are highly sought after by collectors, as they are one of a kind or produced in such limited quantities that their rarity makes them incredibly valuable. The 2004 1-cent coin in question falls under the category of a misprinted coin, and that's where the magic happens. In 2004, the US Mint began producing a new batch of pennies. These weren't just any ordinary pennies, though. They were part of a regular series of coins that featured the familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side. However, during the minting process, a mistake occurred, one that would change the value of this seemingly insignificant coin forever. A small number of these 2004 pennies ended up being produced with a distinct error that would later make them highly sought after by collectors. The error? Well, these pennies, instead of bearing the standard Lincoln Memorial design, were accidentally stamped with the image of the Statue of Liberty. This was a huge mistake, as it was not the design intended for the penny. But as we all know, mistakes can sometimes turn into something incredibly valuable. This error created a rarity, and rarities are the things collectors dream of finding. As soon as word got out about these 2004 pennies featuring the Statue of Liberty, numismatists and coin collectors alike began searching for them. People started to scavenge through their spare change, checking each penny to see if they had one of these rare coins. The excitement around these mistakes grew quickly, and as demand for them increased, so did their value. Some of these rare pennies were found in people's pocket change, while others were discovered in rolls of coins that had been stored in banks for years. The hunt was on, and anyone who found one of these rare coins was suddenly sitting on a small fortune. It's easy to see how such a mistake could go unnoticed at the time. After all, these pennies were mass-produced, and the vast majority of them were just like every other penny minted before them. But for those lucky enough to find one of the misprinted pennies, the discovery was a game-changer. The rarity of these coins made them extremely valuable, and as more and more collectors sought them out, their price began to skyrocket. The 2004 1-cent coin with the Statue of Liberty design became known as the Liberty Penny. This coin, which originally had a face value of just 1 cent, was suddenly worth thousands of dollars. And as word of its value spread, the price kept climbing. Some of these coins were auctioned off for prices far beyond what anyone could have predicted, with one of the highest-selling examples fetching a whopping $47 million. Yes, you read that right. $47 million for a single penny. This incredible sum of money came as a result of intense bidding at a high-profile auction. The coin, one of the few known to exist, was sold to a private collector who was willing to pay a fortune for the rare find. The auction house handling the sale couldn't have anticipated the record-breaking price that the coin would fetch, but such is the nature of rare collectibles. Their value can be difficult to predict, and sometimes, it's far higher than anyone could imagine. So, what makes this coin worth so much? Well, aside from the rarity of the error itself, there are several other factors that contribute to its astronomical value. For one, it's important to note that the coin's condition plays a significant role in determining its worth. A coin in mint condition, with no wear or damage, is far more valuable than one that has been circulated and shows signs of age. This particular 2004 Liberty penny is in pristine condition, which only increases its value. Another factor is the story behind the coin. Coins with interesting or unusual histories tend to fetch higher prices because collectors are not only interested in the coin itself but also in the story that goes with it. The tale of how this penny was misprinted, how it was discovered, and how it came to be auctioned off for millions adds a layer of intrigue and mystique that makes it even more appealing to collectors. In addition, the 2004 Liberty penny's place in the world of numismatics is undeniable. It has become a symbol of the unpredictability of the market for rare coins. No one could have predicted that such a small mistake would lead to such a massive payday for the lucky few who were able to get their hands on one of these coins. The story of the 2004 Liberty penny is one that will likely be told for generations, making it a highly sought-after piece in the world of coin collecting. So, what does this mean for the average person? Well, it's a reminder that you never know what might be hidden in plain sight. The next time you empty your pockets or sort through your spare change, take a second look. While it might be tempting to toss a penny aside, that seemingly insignificant coin might just be worth far more than you could imagine. Of course, the chances of finding one of these rare 2004 Liberty pennies are slim, but the story serves as a reminder that in the world of numismatics, anything is possible. And for those who might be wondering whether there are any other coins from recent years that could be worth millions, the answer is yes. There are other coins out there with rare errors or misprints, and some of them have already been sold for impressive sums. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and if you're willing to dig deep enough and keep your eyes peeled, you might just discover a hidden gem. As the story of the 2004 Liberty Penny proves, even the most unassuming objects can become incredibly valuable over time. And whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who has a passing interest in the world of numismatics, it's always worth keeping an eye out for that next big find. So, remember, next time you handle some loose change, think about the history behind each coin. It's not always about what a coin is worth at the moment, but rather the possibilities of what it could be worth in the future. Keep learning, keep discovering, and who knows? Maybe you'll find your own hidden treasure, just like the lucky individuals who stumbled upon the 2004 Liberty Penny. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. We'll keep bringing you more fascinating stories like this, so stay tuned for our next adventure into the world of collectibles and rare treasures. See you in the next video. Last, we're going to talk about something that might seem a bit surprising at first: the 2019 D1 coin. You might think that a simple penny is just that, a penny. But what if I told you that this coin, with just the right circumstances, could be worth millions of dollars? Yes, you heard that right. A penny that was minted just a few years ago could actually be worth more than some people's entire life savings. So stick around to find out why this coin is one of the most valuable pieces of US currency in modern history. First off, let's talk a little bit about the history of the penny. The penny, also known as the 1-cent coin, has been around for centuries, first being introduced by the US government in 1793. It has gone through numerous design changes over the years, from featuring the bust of Lady Liberty to the iconic Lincoln portrait we see today. But one thing remains constant: the penny has always been seen as a low-value coin. In fact, it's often joked about being nearly worthless, especially in today's world where you need a handful of them just to buy a candy bar. However, this perspective might be shifting in a way that nobody could have predicted just a few short years ago. Now, let's zoom in on 2019. That year, something unusual happened that would change how we look at the penny. The 2019 D1 coin, which was minted in Denver, was found to have a mistake that has since made it one of the most sought-after coins in recent years. But before we get into the specifics of what makes this coin so special, let's talk about why errors in coins can be so valuable in the first place. Coins can be valuable for a variety of reasons. Sometimes it's due to their rarity, like when only a small number of a particular coin were ever made. In other cases, it's because of a historical event tied to that coin, such as a coin minted during a particular era or one that commemorates an important occasion. But when it comes to error coins, the value skyrockets. Errors can occur during the minting process for all sorts of reasons, whether it's a misprint, a die crack, a double strike, or even an issue with the metal used to create the coin. These errors are often incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for them because they are seen as a unique piece of history. So, what exactly happened with the 2019 D1 coin? Well, to make a long story short, there was a problem during the minting process that led to a significant error on some of the coins. Normally, the penny is struck with a design on both sides. One side shows Abraham Lincoln's face, and the other shows the Lincoln Memorial. However, for some of the 2019 D pennies, something went wrong. Some of the coins were struck with an incorrectly aligned die, which resulted in a distorted and doubled image on the reverse side. The result? A unique error that made those particular pennies stand out from the rest of the 2019 D series. At first, the error might seem insignificant. After all, it's just a minor misalignment. But to a coin collector, this is a goldmine. A misaligned die can make a coin much more desirable, especially when it's from a series that was produced in large quantities, like the 2019 D pennies. The rarity of an error like this means that the value of these coins can soar, sometimes reaching prices that are far beyond what you might expect for a simple penny. In fact, some of these 2019 D1-cent coins have been known to sell for as much as $3 million, depending on the severity of the error and the condition of the coin. But why are people willing to pay so much for something that seems like just a mistake? Well, it all comes down to the concept of rarity and desirability. When something is rare and in high demand, it can command a high price, even if it's a simple error on a small coin. Coin collectors are constantly searching for new and unique additions to their collections, and an error like this is a perfect example of what they're looking for. The fact that it's an error from a modern coinage series, which most people would assume has no value, only adds to the allure. Of course, the idea of a penny being worth millions of dollars is a bit hard to wrap your head around. After all, pennies are still in circulation today and are typically worth just 1 cent. So how is it possible for one of these pennies to be worth so much? It all comes down to the specific coin in question. The coins that have been identified as having this error are incredibly rare, and as with any rare item, the law of supply and demand takes effect. The fewer of these coins there are, the more valuable they become. There are a few key factors that influence the value of these error coins. First, there's the rarity of the error itself. In the case of the 2019 D1-cent coin, the error was not widespread. Only a small number of these coins were struck with the misaligned die, making them highly collectible. Second, there's the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the better the condition, the more valuable the item. Coins that are in mint condition or that show very little wear and tear are far more desirable than those that are damaged or worn out from circulation. Third, there's the demand for the coin. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for rare pieces, and as more and more people become aware of this particular error coin, the demand for it grows, which in turn drives up its value. As you might expect, the discovery of this error in the 2019 D1-cent coin sent shockwaves through the coin collecting community. Many collectors scrambled to find these rare coins, hoping to get their hands on one before the prices skyrocketed even further. Auction houses and online marketplaces began to see a surge in listings for these particular pennies, with some reaching record-breaking prices. The excitement surrounding these coins even caught the attention of the media, which only added to the frenzy. In fact, some of these error pennies have already sold for six-figure amounts, and as more time goes by, it's possible that their value could continue to rise. The fact that these coins are from a relatively recent year, 2019, makes them even more intriguing to collectors. Unlike coins from older, more distant eras, these pennies are still within living memory for most people, which means they're accessible to a wider range of collectors. And as more and more people become aware of this rare error, it's likely that even more buyers will jump into the market, further driving up the price. But of course, not every 2019 D1-cent coin is worth a small fortune. While some of these error coins are worth millions of dollars, many others are not as valuable. The key is finding one that is in exceptional condition and features the specific error that makes it so rare. If you happen to stumble upon one of these coins, it could be the find of a lifetime. But even if you don't, there are still plenty of other rare coins out there that might be hiding in your spare change, waiting to be discovered. If you're wondering how you can check if you have one of these valuable error pennies in your own collection or spare change, there are a few things you can look for. First, you'll want to closely examine the reverse side of the coin. Look for any signs of a doubled or misaligned image. This can sometimes be tricky to spot with the naked eye, so it might be helpful to use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to get a closer look. If you notice any unusual features, such as a distorted or duplicated design, it could be an indication that you have one of these rare error coins. Another way to check is by looking at the condition of the coin. Coins that are in pristine condition are far more valuable than those that have been heavily circulated. If you have a coin that looks like it was just minted and has no signs of wear or damage, it could be worth more than you think. If you think you might have a valuable coin on your hands, the next step is to have it appraised by a professional. There are many experts in the coin collecting community who can help you determine the value of your coin, as well as provide guidance on how to preserve and protect it. You can find appraisers through local coin shops, auction houses, or online resources that specialize in rare coins. At the end of the day, The story of the 2019 D1 cent coin is a fascinating one that shows just how unpredictable the world of coin collecting can be. A simple penny, which most people would overlook as a low-value item, has turned into a symbol of rarity and desirability. And while it's unlikely that everyone will find a $3 million penny in their pocket, it's a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold great value if the right conditions align. So, if you're interested in learning more about the world of rare coins, be sure to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and leave a comment below if you have any thoughts or questions about this fascinating topic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time with more exciting stories and discoveries.